Hello. How is everyone doing? Hope everyone has had a good morning so far. Um, they were doing more Warriors All Stars because last stream I realized that so I have one achievement left. That's not the end of completion. Steam achievements do not cover everything that's actually in this game. However, there is one Steam achievement for doing every heroic, dramatic, and story battle. And I thought I had done all but one. I did that one that I knew I hadn't done last stream, and then it turns out, oh, there's actually more, and I don't know which they were because while the game does have a way of tracking directly the battles you've done, it's really poor at doing so. Um, there are several that are marked as not complete that I know I have done based on literally earlier footage I have taken and earlier streams. I assume they're marked out because I didn't complete them in that specific New Game Plus cycle, which is not necessary to do all of them in one cycle for the achievement. It's just very strange the way the game actually marks them as complete or not. So I now need to go through and check through an entire spreadsheet of every single battle for the next probably 2 or 3 streams until I eventually go through every battle and figure out which is the one I didn't have completed. Which is gonna take a while. It's going to be really fucking obnoxious. I'm gonna have to take a slight detour from the regard grinding that is already going to take forever. So that's not going to be the most fun, but if I want to complete this game fully, it's unfortunately necessary. So hopefully I get lucky and can complete the last few pretty quickly. Hopefully I luck out and some of the first few battles I try end up being the one I was missing. I hope it does not end up being one of the last ones on the list. That would be very obnoxious, but yeah, until we get that done, I will be doing passive regard grinding while doing this, but the dedicated regard grind will be taking a slight backseat for at least this stream and possibly even 2 or 3 more. So yeah. On my second monitor, I have a spreadsheet pulled up of every mission, and I'm going to be slowly marking that off every time I do a mission in game. So hopefully it won't take too long. But if it does, then well, not much I can do about that, unfortunately. So yeah, let's go ahead and start the game and get this nightmare started. Surprisingly, I had expected to have had around the 200-hour mark of this game by this point, but no. I have still put, obviously, quite a lot of time into the game, that being 140 hours. Obviously, that is definitely quite a bit, but it's surprisingly still a lower time than I believe Samurai Warriors 1 had, and I know it's definitely longer, way longer, I mean, way less long than Dynasty Warriors 3. I think it's actually even technically lower than my playtime for Dynasty Warriors 2, although that one's a bit of inaccurate. But point is, I believe that my playtime in this game isn't actually that bad for 100% completion of a musou, but it feels like I've put fucking endless time into this because the time I have put into it has been so incredibly tedious. Now, like I said, I am still going to be doing the regard grinding as we do this. which is why I am starting with Ryu Hayabusa. But it's just going to be taking a massive backseat compared to where it was at the last few streams. Yeah, I have not done this specific mission, hero training. This is just the tutorial mission. It's always the first mission that's available, but it's never necessary to do. I don't think I've done this since I started the game. I know you have to do it once per campaign for the per story route. I mean, for the mission list, and I believe I have done it for each route, but I still want to double check. I'm not gonna leave any undone just in case. And luckily, despite this being a very boring mission, it's not the longest. And it's of course very easy since it is just a tutorial quest. And yeah, even the final commander of the stage is very weak. Able to take him out in just one single light attack chain. Like I said, this is just the tutorial mission. I've never done it on stream though because it's never been necessary. But unfortunately, now it is. Which means I also need to get out the spreadsheet to mark that off. Yeah, I'm gonna be constantly swapping this stream between the actual stream and a spreadsheet. So if I ever miss any chats, just know that that's why. It's not intentionally ignoring. No, I'm just realizing, did I make sure to equip Ryu with his card beforehand? Okay, I did. In fact, he has two. But I did. That's good. Yeah, I believe most of the main story battles I have already completed. Again, I have no clue which mission I have not finished, which one I have left, but I am going to guess. Make an educated guess based on the ones that I believe I've already done. It is most likely one of the dramatic battles. Although I have no clue which one. But that's my best guess, is that it would be one of those, but I'm not entirely certain. Again, the game itself does track these, but it tracks them not especially well. It's pretty poor, so... I love William's hero skill because it's such a powerful attack that it can just instantly one-shot most generals. I don't think I've really used him much outside of a couple of battles for the regard grind. But I don't think I've used him much on stream specifically, but he is a pretty good hero skill support if you want to go for raw damage. Wait, I just realized I'm a fucking idiot. Okay, I'm glad I figured that out like 8 minutes in instead of like 40 minutes in. Wow, okay, luckily didn't miss anything. I literally just started it, did the tutorial mission, and have been doing this stage for like 30 seconds, but look, very smart streamer, okay? See, like I said, I had the spreadsheet open, so I didn't see that the game itself was not showing on screen. These wouldn't have been an issue if not for the spreadsheet, which means the spreadsheet is already fucking up the stream. It's already ruining the stream in more ways than one. Very smart streamer, clearly, but okay, now it's actually on screen. That's so fucking embarrassing. I'm so glad that nobody. I'm so glad that. So glad that nobody saw that. Would have been so fucking embarrassing. Again, very glad I noticed that as early as I did. Yeah, normally I have the stream itself open on my second monitor at all times. So I would have normally noticed that pretty quickly, but because I have to keep that spreadsheet up pretty often, I didn't see that until just now, so. But luckily, shouldn't be an issue now. I will remember in future streams to make sure I actually have the game pulled up before I pull out the spreadsheet. But now the gameplay can actually be seen, and that's all that matters, as long as it can be seen now. Imagine if I had forgot to actually pull that up for like the entire stream. Imagine if I got 30 minutes into the stream while forgetting to even like fucking put the game as visible. I had the like I had it set as invisible because I usually open the game like while I'm at the starting soon screen, but I don't want it to appear right the second I actually start, so I can like talk for at least a minute or two before starting the game. But I almost forgot to actually put it on stream. Actual clown streamer, clearly. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, ba. Oh, how I love going through these main story quests over and over, just to make sure I've gotten every battle done. It's so enjoyable, and definitely not extra tedious. Very fun video game to 100%. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm very unprepared this stream, because I just accidentally reversed by my mute button, so I had it muted when I coughed. Or I had it muted when I was talking and unmuted when I coughed. Again, look, I'll be more prepared later. The more the stream goes on, the more prepared I'll be, I promise. I'll eventually get my bearings. But yeah. It is time to let's go, bot spotted, let's go. Oh yeah. I need to sometime this weekend, most likely this weekend at least, I plan to finally set up, like figure out how to set up like sound effects and like channel point redeem stuff, because I want to have a button I can press to make a sound effect whenever a bot shows up, because I know it's gonna happen a lot. So far, I think in the I think this is my 12th stream, I want to say. I think I've had like 4 bots show up, maybe 5, and they're always really funny. I don't know. Bots don't really ever make me upset or anything. They're kind of just funny to me. I luckily have enough moderation stuff set up to kind of kill them if they send any links or anything, so it's never really an actual issue, but they are very funny. Yeah, from what I remember, this particular hero battle is one of the shorter ones, so it shouldn't take too long to get through this, and I can move on to Nautara's, which is one of the longer ones from what I remember, but that will be two marked off the spreadsheet. Even though I know for a fact I have done those before, but still good to go out of my way to mark them either way. Yeah, luckily for this stage, I don't really ever worry about the extra side missions, because getting high enough bravery to beat the enemy generals is never really an issue on most hero battles, but this one especially, where it's such a short one. However, Ryu Hayabutsu's moveset so much. It just all flows so well. All of his attacks just flow into each other so fantastically. It's great. As you can see, the stage is not especially long, luckily. It's a pretty short one. That's one down. And then we have Maltara's next. And hers, from what I remember, is a decent bit longer, but it's still not too bad. Luckily, in this game, as tedious as every stage is, especially having to redo them constantly, most of them are around like 2 to 5 minutes each. Individually, none of them are particularly bad, luckily. Sorry, had to hydrate really quickly before continuing. I feel like Ryu has the most awkward stance imaginable when he's in the bath. Anytime he's in the hot spring, he just has his arms crossed, standing straight up with like the most serious face imaginable. It's always so awkward, but it's kind of funny. New path forward. Here's that one. I'm guessing that'll be a bit later. See, like for example, I was mentioning earlier about the game not tracking these especially well. Every dramatic battle, only dramatic battles, for whatever reason, are marked as question mark, no matter what. Unless you do them in that New Game Plus cycle. But if you've already done them, but in previous cycles, they'll be marked off. They'll be marked as question marks, which is so odd. I don't understand why. It's only with these. It's not with hero battles, not even with story battles. It's only dramatic battles. Do not get marked off in between New Game Plus cycles. You have to do it this cycle or it doesn't get marked off. And I'm fairly certain one of these, at least one dramatic battle I have not done. But I'm not sure which is. This one, I know I've done this one. The Mitsunari and Hajime one. I know for a fact I've done that one several times. But aside from that one, I don't know which one it is I haven't done, but I am fairly certain there's at least one dramatic battle I have not completed. And of course there's these two, which I suppose I haven't done before. But these seem to be fairly consistent about how they're marked off. It's only the dramatic battles that are so odd about how they get counted. But yeah. Going to had to once again hydrate really quickly. It's very early for me. I woke up not too long ago, so I have been coughing quite a bit. Unfortunately, I did end up accidentally not muting a few of them, so I apologize for that. But yeah, I have had to cough a decent amount and drink a lot of water. I woke up close to an hour ago, but yeah, not too long ago. See, no one else is here, so just the confidant characters are unfortunately not the best efficiency when it comes to exclusively going after the regard, but of course right now that isn't my only priority. I guess on one hand, as much as it is very obnoxious that I have to go out of my way to redo most of these missions just to figure out which one I didn't already do, I guess the one silver lining is that it does mean I have something to focus on that isn't just mindless button mashing to get regard. I do have to actually play the game somewhat. So that is nice at least, but I still wish I didn't have to do it at all. I guess at some point I should also actually show the spreadsheet. I'll probably show the progress we've made on it at some point later in the stream. But looking at the spreadsheet of every single battle in this game, something I noticed is there are very few dramatic battles in this game, despite them being like kind of the whole crossover shtick of the game. You would think they would have a significantly greater focus, but no, there's very few. Oh, there's Ryu's awesome dive. I think it's called a swallow dive in game, or swallow dive, but yeah, in this they programmed it very strangely, so if you're at a ledge or a staircase, you can very easily make some huge distance just by diving off of it. And I'm fairly certain it wasn't intentional. It does feel like the type of thing that was probably an oversight, but which is not especially uncommon in this game. It is very entertaining, and it is at least a positive bug if it is one. A bug that is actually more helpful than detrimental. Extra movement capabilities in this game is always welcome. Even small staircases like that, you can still get a tiny bit of extra distance by diving off of. As far as I can remember, I think Ryu is the only character who really has something that is that helpful and works in that exact way, but it is very good that he has it. Because while he is a very fast character, he's mostly fast in terms of combat flow. In terms of movement, his movement is kind of just the same speed as pretty much everyone else. Not any ingrained movement tech outside of the dive, so it is nice that you can at least get a bit of extra movement tech out of that little oversight there. It is quite nice, whether intentional or not. Okay, I should probably run to Natora. These stages are never particularly difficult. You still don't want to be running away from the objective for too long. Okay, they will die eventually. Because your allies are quite weak in this game, as with most musos, but this one it's especially bad. I have not done this particular mission in quite a while, so I feel like most missions I kind of have a bit of muscle memory built up on where exactly to go at what exact moments, but a lot of these hero battles, because I spent so much time in that single New Game Plus cycle before, a lot of these hero battles I have not done in probably 20 to 30 in-game hours, so yeah, it's been quite a bit since I've done those. But even so, even if I haven't done them in so long, none of them are particularly difficult or confusing, so this game's standards for stages are quite low, very simple. It will never get old to me how William from Neo is the one character who speaks in English. This game does not have a dedicated English dub, but because William speaks English in Neo, I believe even in the Japanese version, he is the one character that speaks like that. Everyone else still talks in Japanese, but specifically him, I don't have to read the subtitles for only him, and it's very odd. It's a very strange choice. It does make sense, like lore-wise, because he is obviously British from his original game, but it's such a strange choice because he's not the only character, I believe, who canonically isn't Japanese, yet he's the only one who doesn't specifically speak Japanese. You know what, actually, I don't think I've ever looked at this particular cutscene. A lot of the cutscenes in this game, despite having played several times, I haven't actually seen most cutscenes in this game because I just never pay attention to any of them. And this is one of the ones I have never looked at. I suppose that does give an extra kind of incentive for doing all of these, because having to redo almost every stage for one achievement does mean that I do get the chance to finally actually pay attention to these cutscenes. There aren't a ton of them, and they're all fairly short, but they're decently cute. Cute enough to actually pay attention to at least a little bit, just one time. I guess for the rest of this run, I should probably not skip the cutscenes, just so I can see them just one time. Since even in my first playthrough, I did end up skipping all of them, because I honestly just do not care about the story in this game. It's so nothing. I wouldn't even say it's bad, it's just, it exists. It's incredibly mediocre to a degree that's just kind of dull. Stage was better than I remember. Still not amazing, but it had a cute cutscene. It was not too long, and, well, That's really all I can say for it. Even the better stages in this game are simple to a degree that they're not particularly outstanding, but it's something. It is a point. And it may be a very minor point, but a point is a point nonetheless. Oh yeah, now that I have her, maybe, okay, no. She's already maxed out. I actually have quite a few characters maxed out with Ryu, surprisingly. I suppose it's because I have played him a decent amount on my own time in the past. He is one of my favorite characters in the game. But did not expect to have so many Confidant rank characters already. Gotta quickly mark off that one on the spreadsheet, can't forget that. Okay. And then next is Hold Silence, which is, well actually no, I guess I'll do Darius's one first, get that out of the way. Yeah, this one has kind of turned into one of my least favorite hero battles, solely for the fact that I have had to do it so many times. This is one of the hero battles that are kind of not exactly required in all cases, but are sometimes required in order to progress story battles. And so I've had to do it probably 20 times in my entire play time of this game. It is not a bad hero battle necessarily on its own, but I think any battle, especially in this game, having to do over and over that many times, obviously gets a bit dull, a bit repetitive, not the most fun after a while. But it has resulted in me being able to basically do this stage with my eyes closed. Honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if I literally could at this point, based on just going off of sound cues. It is that simple of a stage, and I have gotten used to it that much. Obviously, it probably wouldn't be the best idea still, but I think that would be a funny idea to go through one stage in this game completely blindfolded, based entirely around sound cues and muscle memory. Because I think I could do it for certain stages. I don't know if I'd be able to do it for every stage, but there are definitely some that I definitely could do that with and still be able to get away with it. Oh yeah, something I just remembered. Relating to Ryu Hayabusa, I have heard basically nobody talk about it, which is not the best sign, I suppose, but yeah, Ninja Gaiden 4, that came out like a day or two ago, and the only reason I knew that it released was because I saw that, I looked at the Steam page, it appeared in my recommended, and it was like, wait, that's out? I didn't even know that was coming out this year. Like, I knew it was announced, but I assumed it was a next year release. Let alone literally a day or two ago. But it is cool. It is cool that Ninja Gaiden 4 released. And again, like I said, I have heard basically nobody talk about it. but I would assume that at the very least means that it's fine. Probably means it's not amazing, but it does hopefully mean that it's not terrible either. I feel like it were abysmal garbage on the same level as Ninja Gaiden 3, I would probably hear more people mention it. If only just to complain, but I have not heard that. But I also haven't heard anyone praising it, so again, I would assume it's just fine. Probably a solid 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 Ninja Gaiden game. Passable, but not amazing is my best guess. Although again, like I said, it could be wrong. Could be better or worse. I have not heard anything. And I mean anything. I've heard absolutely nothing about that game since release a few days ago. I hope it's good though. I probably won't play it for a very long time. I still haven't even played the older Ninja Gaiden games. I played Ninja Gaiden 1 on NES, which I actually played for the first time like a month or two ago. But as for the modern, in quotation marks, I guess the Ninja Gaiden 1 on the Xbox released like 20 years ago at this point, but modern, in quotation marks, Ninja Gaiden games, I have not actually played any of myself, and I need to. I know I would like them. I'm fairly certain I would enjoy them, and I do plan to play them. I literally own a physical copy of Ninja Gaiden Black. I bought one like a few months ago. So I'm sure I would enjoy it. It's just a matter of like actually getting around to play it. If I had a capture card, I would maybe even stream Ninja Gaiden Black because yeah, I mentioned on a previous stream that I think it would maybe be fun to stream the original games of every character from this game, all of the crossover characters. Obviously, I'm already going to be eventually streaming all of the Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors games, except Samurai Warriors 1 and Dynasty Warriors 2 and 3, because those I played off-stream and 100%ed, but all of the future ones I'll of course be playing on stream. But like even the non-Musou ones, I'd like to try the Deception games. I feel like those would be fun. Obviously Ninja Gaiden. Opuna I feel like would be an interesting game. I know that's like a Wii RPG, and the Wii has so few RPGs that I feel like that would be an interesting one to play. Could play the 6 patchy slot games on the PS2 that have Ryo, Roland, Tachibana. That would be interesting. The Tokiden games, of course. Be quite a few. There are quite a few games that are crossed over in this game that would be, I feel like would be quite fun to stream someday. Gotta really quickly, almost forgot to mark off the spreadsheet. Actually, I'm gonna look at what was the what was the name of that one? The Darius mission. Completely forgot. Hero battle. Okay, leader of the demon clan. Got it. Mark that one off really quickly. Okay. Nice. Making decent progress on the checklist, but that's literally just because everything we're marking off at the moment is just the required story and early hero battles, but well, getting anything marked off that checklist is gonna be satisfying. And I almost forgot to accept requests. I spent so long in that single New Game Plus cycle before that I kind of forgot. I kind of got out of the swing of constantly accepting requests when they were available. Was he A-posing for a second there? I was looking away for a second, but it looked like Ryu was A-posing after I accepted his request before he went into his actual intended pose. Now it is time for Horo's special quest, hero mission. You know, this is actually surprisingly alright regard grinding. It's obviously not as efficient as the dedicated regard farming, but it's not bad. It's better than I expected, considering I don't even have Hanukkah on my team to get the extra guaranteed, or well, not guaranteed, but instant resets occasionally. Completely wiped that transport unit off the map with a fucking meteor. Yeah, I really do want to actually get into the Ninja Gaiden series. I feel like it would be a series I would enjoy. I did, as I mentioned earlier, I did actually play the NES Ninja Gaiden earlier this year, and it was quite fun. I did actually enjoy it. Probably one of my favorite NES games now, but I do also want to play the more modern games, the 3D action titles. Only took a single hit. Come on. Yeah, this game is not very difficult, as you can tell. Once you have reached max level, you can kind of just wipe the floor with pretty much everything, and it does not take very much to reach said max level. The max level is only 50, and getting to level 50 is not especially difficult. I love Ryu Hayabusa's dive. It's so fucking stupid. Like any slight ledge or hill or anything along those lines, you can just dive straight off of and just ram into walls constantly. It's a genuinely very useful movement ability, whether intended or not, but it is very entertaining to look at because he just dives directly into walls. Okay, let's see. That was... Okay, Stranger from a Faraway Land is what that one was. Where is that on the spreadsheet? Okay, there you are. And I guess I'm also gonna go ahead and mark off Sharp-Witted Beauty since that's the next one we're doing. Okay, nice. We have gotten a decent number of the hero battles out of the way. And along with doing this, because Ryu had so many high regard characters with him, I'm also getting a decent amount of friendship events, so that's of course always great as well. As I've mentioned in previous streams though, this is unfortunately probably my least favorite hero battle in the game. It is very obnoxious. It's both probably the most difficult, but it's not even fun difficult. It's just, if you leave the camp for too long and let the village chief be overwhelmed, you're gonna get fucked over. And that's really all it comes down to. It's just stay in this one spot for 3 full minutes to defend the captain, and that's it. It is very, very dull. And of course, after this point, there is more to the stage. It's not literally just that one part, but that is the majority of the stage's runtime, and it is also the most dull part of it, by far. The worst part is that because the village chief is as weak as he is, even the small peon enemies can still be potential danger. Yeah, really I shouldn't be leaving the home base alone like this, but I also would like to take out this Blazing Soul before they get anywhere close to the home base. Because if that thing appears, then it is a big problem if it gets close to the home base. I sure do love the arrow rain that appears the second I capture the base. That's always very enjoyable and definitely not at all one of the most obnoxious parts of going through stages in this game. My favorite. I love it. I probably still should be using at least some hero skills, just to get a tiny bit of regard grinding out of the way, especially since both Shiki and Opuna are very close to max, but it's definitely not going to be nearly as efficient as when I'm going in for dedicated grinding. I love when there's an enemy called a gatekeeper and you would think like, oh, it's guarding the gate, you have to kill it to open the gate, and you sort of do, but it doesn't matter anyways, because even if you do kill the gatekeeper, the gate does not open. Also, yet another reason I hate this stage, completely forgot to stick around Wing Yuanji for like a full minute, because if you don't do that, you have to be near her once she finishes her dialogue, because if you just go near her and she's still talking, it doesn't count. It doesn't count for the stage objective, and the stage will not continue. And it takes like a full minute for her to finish all of her dialogue, and for you to be able to actually continue the stage and officially rendezvous with her. It's not enough to just go near her and rendezvous with her whenever you want to. No, no, no. You have to do it at the exact moment the game allows you to. Otherwise, it doesn't count. What a fantastic game with absolutely amazing quality of life. Now, time to wait an extra few seconds for everyone to finish their dialogue so I can actually clear the stage. This is most of these hero battles, unfortunately. Very, very unfortunate. Okay, I already marked off Sharp-Witted Beauty on the spreadsheet, so I don't have to go back to it quite yet. But we did finish a request. That's nice. And we have a friendship event with Wang Yongji. Also very, very good. Oh yeah, very, very good. See who? You know what, fuck it. Opuna. Opuna can get it, even though he absolutely doesn't really need it for anything. Because yeah, unfortunately, another thing is, when you accept a character request of the character you're playing, it just works. No issues, but when you're actually turning that request in, you can't be playing as the character you're turning the request in for. And the reason why is most likely because of the fact that you get some regard for it, and obviously you can't get regard with yourself, but it is still mildly annoying having to manually swap characters. I'm going to rotate back to the first save slot. Okay, nice. Wang Yuanji is not maxed out. Darius also is not. And Horo isn't either, which means we finally have a full team of 4 that are not maxed out with Ryu. And one of them is Opuna, so it doesn't... It's more like we're maxing out 3 characters, but it is still preferable to having 4 characters that all already have confidant rank regard with Ryu. And what is this stage name? It doesn't even say. Whatever. This is why I should probably mark off these stages on the spreadsheet before I actually do them rather than after, because half the time I actually forget what the stage name is after I've completed it. I think Shiki's kinda dumb as fuck. Like, in every single story route, he's, until you, except for the, like, true route, where the other two rollers kind of figure it out on their own. Like, outside of that route, he's just incredibly insistent on not telling anyone the situation of there being a fucking, like, evil demon living in the spring. Like, I get that he's like, oh, doesn't know if they're being controlled, but also even if they are being controlled, it's like, okay, like, even if they are being controlled, like, okay, they tell the demon that the demon is sealed, like, even if they were being controlled by Yomi, it's not like they would be giving Yomi classified info by just telling them, yeah, there's a demon in the spring, that's why you don't want to be king. He could literally just say that and it would be like basically no risk. But no, this game's story is not the most well thought out, and most of the characters are dumb as hell. I am glad that even though I am doing this very obnoxious detour, I can at the very least get some regard grinding out of the way. Not a ton, it's definitely not nearly as efficient as playing normally, but it is at least something. So that's nice at least. Yeah, another incredibly easy and short story stage. I suppose it's good that they are so short, but it is undeniably a little bit obnoxious when they're so mindless and require so little attention. Okay, a few more hero battles to get out of the way. Now we have done fighting for once, we have cold silence. And for these two, one requires not clearing flowers on the battlefield and the other does require it. So I think what I'm gonna do is, in this run, I will clear it, and the next run I will not, so. actually gonna really quickly mark this off. Silence the one we just completed. But before doing flowers on the battlefield, I will first get these 2 hero battles out of the way very quickly. I can't wait until I've gotten this achievement done, and then I can get back to regard grinding. I never thought that I would look forward to regard grinding, but I feel like this is possibly even more tedious than that, since I have to open up a spreadsheet and go back to it in between every single stage, and most of these stages I know for a fact I have already done before, but I still have to go out of my way to do it just to make sure 100%. And it's nothing too difficult, of course, but it is just a little bit obnoxious. Slightly, a tiny bit. Yeah, last stream when we were doing Tamaki's route, getting to Clockwork Princess, the hero battle for Millennia, took quite a while. But on Shiki's route, she's actually one of the earliest characters you can get. She's very easy, so it is fortunately a lot easier to get her on this route than it is on Tamaki's. The only problem is that her dramatic battle, Time Noids and Humans, can only be gotten on Tamaki's route. It can't be obtained on Shiki's, so it's not as useful as it otherwise would be, but does at least mean that I can have her for regard farming a bit earlier than on that route. That's something. And I did say I would stop skipping the cutscenes, so gotta remember to do that. Yeah, not every cutscene is the most interesting, but I still do want to at least see them a little bit. This is the worst part of those little character intro cutscenes, is whenever they happen, there's a very high likelihood that it will give that character the opportunity to go ahead and use their special skill, even if you would have otherwise had them killed before they could use it. But because there's this slight delay for these cutscenes, they almost always get just enough time to use it, and depending on the character, that can be more or less of an issue. For Oka and Naotara especially, it is absolutely hell, but for most other characters, it's just a mild annoyance. It is still enough of an annoyance to be quite obnoxious when it does happen. Yeah, yet another incredibly short hero battle. That one is not very long, luckily. Which is very fortunate in that specific stage's case, because that map is one of my least favorite. It is way too big, so the fact that it only takes place in the top left corner and middle is a bit fortunate. And also, of course, yet another friendship event obtained. We are showing out a surprising amount of those during this, despite not even dedicated regard grinding happening. Really quickly going to mark off Yukimura's quest on the spreadsheet before we actually start it. Okay, good. Not that. Can't forget to mark those off, because as soon as I forget to mark off one, I will forget whether or not I did it, and that will mean I will end up having to do it a second time later, and that won't be fun. I would not like to do that. In fact, I would quite hate that. Now, I don't really have much of a reason to actually go out of my way to capture these side bases, since I'm not really grinding for regard at this moment, and so I don't really need the hero skill reset orbs constantly, but kind of just habit of going after those. And on the rare occasion it does give me one of those, it is still good to get a little bit of that regard out of the way. Never a bad thing. Yeah, I did not expect to end up doing most of Ryu's grinding, while not even actually focusing on that. But it has kind of just turned out like that. We started grinding him at the exact same time as I realized that I'm going to need to redo a bunch of stages, so rather than dedicated regard grinding, it's been a bit more of just stage grinds with a slight tinge of regard grinding on the side. Gotta love when that happens. Always love when the opponent uses their special attack the second you walk up to them. However, approaching enemies only to be immediately told, oh wait, you can't actually fight them for another few seconds. It's definitely great for the pacing of the game and doesn't at all make this game turn into an absolute slog. Like, I'd be okay with it if it was like a rare occurrence. Maybe it only happened against the commanders, like the major commanders in the stage, but it happens for every major enemy, and it's just like, it doesn't always happen, but it happens frequently enough that it's just like, that time adds up. Those couple of seconds adds up, and it just becomes such a pace breaker. See, like that, exactly. See, and she has not, well actually, I guess her animation isn't that long, but it's longer than some other units, so. And with a character like, you know, I always bring her up, she's the prime example of this, but a character like Oka, if you're fighting against her, when she uses that, not only do you have the few seconds of her actually activating the skill, where you can't attack her, but then there's a full like 20 to 30 seconds of just not being able to attack her in general because her skill is invincibility. And it's just like, the fact that they can activate that before you even done a single point of damage to them is just so fucking obnoxious. Like, it's something that's not too bad in a vacuum on an individual basis, but when it happens so frequently against both small enemies and major generals, it's just like, it adds up to a point where it's just like, this game isn't fun. This game isn't fun to play normal battles in, and it's one of the biggest reasons. They have such a poor pacing. Also, damn, I meant to not skip that, but oh well. I should not have skipped that one, but I'm sure we will see this mission again. Probably several more times, but yeah, I do like the concept of this stage where Yukimura kind of just rushes into the enemy camp in the middle of the battle on his own. I mostly like it because it is a nice little reference to, I forget the name of the battle, but there is one battle in Samurai Warriors where he does that, and is one of the more well-known battles in Samurai Warriors 1. Actually, no. Probably keep that one. I think that may actually be the first A-rank card I've gotten for Okuna, because he does not have requests, and that is the main way that you get high-rank cards. You have to get his naturally just out in the wild. Okay, I'm not going to go out my way to get his right now, because I want to instead focus on the story missions, but I will go after him fairly soon, even if not this moment. Okay, gotta swap characters now. I'm fairly certain that you do not have max regard with Ryu. There's no way. Okay, time to swap back to Ryu and head to the hot spring to see if there is a hot spring event this time. And there is not. And once again, back to rotating the saves. Okay. Before I do this stage, very quickly, I am going to take a very quick BRB, just because I know it's fairly early into the stream, only about an hour and a half in, but I have drunk through all of my water already. I live in an area with a pretty dry climate, so I burn through water quite fast, so we'll be back in probably just 2 or 3 minutes, but very quick BRB. Hello everyone, the streamer has returned. And it's time to get back to the terrible, horrible grind that I hate. Just messing with the previously mentioned spreadsheet really quickly. Okay. You know, I said I wasn't going to do the resourceful tactician stage quite yet, but fuck it, I'll get it out of the way. It's one of my least favorite hero battles, just because I've had to do it so many times, but I might as well get it out of the way now, that way I don't have to do it later. Although I probably will just rush to the main objective for this one, since it is a stage that I'm not a huge fan of. Oh my god. As soon as I fucking capture the area, the arrows already start. It's so fucking hellish. I hate it. But what I don't hate is taking out Ubu before he can use his special attack. Okay, now I gotta get out of here immediately before the fucking arrow rain starts again. Fucking hell. It's so bad.
Detour. なぜどこの馬の骨とも知れぬやつにホイホイついていかねばならぬのだ。
英雄殿とはいえ、その言い草許せぬ。
鬱陶しいのだよ。気に入らなければ力ずく。それがこの世界の流儀か。恐れ入れ。
See, that time I didn't forget to not skip the cutscene. Also, the audio in the cutscenes are way louder than everything else, which very cool that there's not a cutscene volume option. That's very nice. I don't know why, because they definitely have a separate volume like control internally compared to the rest of the game, because they were so much louder than everything else.
今のうちに先へ進む。しばらくは追ってこないはず。
敵の包囲をうまく切り抜けたな。そういえば秘策と身の
秘策などない。ただはったりをかまして敵を脅しただけだ。
援軍として参りました。守備は上々か。
二の矢があったか。この先は敵の守りが厚い。そこで次の手だ。敵の装備を奪い工作兵に着せてくれ。騒ぎを起こさない秘密裏に行く。
I love closed captioning on Twitch. I love how whenever I play a little bit, the captions will always like just come up with some complete fucking nonsense. Dude, I don't know how exactly I thought I was saying Ben 10, but oh, captions, you truly are really fucking funny at the very least. Whether you're good or not is debatable, but entertaining, absolutely. Captions are more entertaining than me, to be honest. I won't deny it. They have peak potential for comedy. Totally for how bad they are.
世界の連中はバカ者揃いという。お前たちは幾分マシだな。
Denari's such an ass. I thought everyone in this world was an imbecile. Like everyone in this entire world is fucking a dumbass. What a fucking dickhead. He's so cool. He's so awesome. He's such a cool little guy. He's just a funny little creature. Just a silly guy, you know. Yeah, he's an asshole and probably a piece of shit, but like, you know, he's quirky. He's a funny little guy. Oh my god, she's gonna use her special attack the second she gets out of this, I guarantee it. Oh, no. For once, she actually didn't. Hell yeah. Had she gotten that off, that would have been so fucking annoying. Because I would have had to just stand here running in circles for 30 seconds doing nothing. It would have been hell, but luckily that did not happen. We got the rare good outcome. I'm actually getting off quite a few friendship events, surprisingly. Despite that not even being the dedicated purpose of this stream. But it is nice, it will make my job way easier later down the line once we do go back to dedicated regard grinding. Okay, gotta pull out the spreadsheet yet again. I think I'm going to do, I'm going to end up doing a difficult request spreadsheet right now. Very quickly, getting that out of the way. And then after that will be the Flowers on the Battlefield story quest. Those are the two I'm gonna do right now, and then we will go from there. From what I remember, this one is kind of a bit dull. Not very long, but also not particularly interesting either. It merely exists. As with most stages in this game, even the dramatic battles, the ones that are meant to be the star of the show, even those are not the most fascinating, unfortunately. Big unfortunately on that one, but these are quite dull, just like the rest. But that little movement right there, that little schmovement definitely is not.
何を言われようと裏切るつもりはない人のことを言えない少しは笑顔でも作ったこと呼ばれても呼ばれなくても出るとこ
By the way, that little extra objective there that was saying to persuade Zhao Yun and not defeat him, that I failed there, that doesn't actually matter. As far as I'm aware, there is no way to actually persuade Zhao Yun, even if you approach him and just don't attack. I have tried doing that in the past and he just doesn't listen. Instead, he just starts attacking you anyways. So you have to kill him no matter what. It's not an optional thing. It's not like an optional side objective that you can be like, oh well, I don't have to defeat Zhao Yun if I don't want to, and maybe it would create like a different progression toward the rest of the stage. But no, that's not a thing in this game. As far as I'm aware, I cannot think of any stages that are like that at all in this game. In fact, every stage is incredibly straightforward, and it does result in a very dull game. But a dull game that I must complete despite that. I don't know how long exactly I want this stream to end up going on. I know I definitely do not want it to be as long as the last stream. Last stream somehow ended up accidentally being my longest stream yet, despite it just being basically this. But that one ended up being my longest, and it was a little bit exhausting by the end. I don't want it to go on quite for 4.5 hours, nearly 5. But I will probably go until the 2.5, maybe 3 hour mark. Not quite ready to be done quite yet. I do need to play in at least somewhat long sessions if I want to actually make significant progress in this game, and well, considering that I would like to be done with this game, preferably before December, yeah, I do need to be quite fast on my progress making. Yeah, as I mentioned before, not only Zhao Yun, but also Oka, it does give you the mission immediately to persuade neither of them. You can't persuade either of them. It is not an actual stage option. You just go up to them. Even if you don't fight them, a little dialogue will play and they'll be like, wow, we failed to persuade them. Because the whole joke of this quest is that, wow, Hajime and Mitsunari aren't very good at talking to people, so they're bad at convincing allies to join them. And that's the whole joke. That's the whole joke of the stage. It's, I mean, it's neat. It's a haha funny little bit, but it's very much kind of just a nothing kind of comedy event. It's just like, whatever. It would have been cooler, I think, if they had given the option to where, oh, you actually can persuade them, and it's like, oh, you know, we're bad at convincing people, but you know, we can occasionally. Like, they could have given that option, but no. Nope. Had to keep these stages as simplistic as possible, so that was unfortunately not an option.
目覚めが悪い。
石との剣が情に熱い。
This is, despite how much I don't really like the story associated with this dramatic battle, it's not one of my least favorites. It's probably on the higher end of the dramatic battles, which is honestly more of a negative than anything. The fact that this is one of the better ones and I still don't think is that good is fucking not a good sign, but yeah, this game's battles, even the ones that should be the best in the game, are still very below average compared to the musou genre as a whole. It's a very low bar, but it does clear that bar relatively well, I would say. Already luckily marked these two off on the spreadsheet beforehand, so don't need to worry about that quite yet. While I will be trying not to skip the cutscenes in this run, I will not be reading I will still continue to not read the friendship events. And the reason for that is because I could read them right now, but I would rather instead just at the very end of the game, once we've finished everything, kind of do a victory lap stream at the very end and just read through every friendship and every hot spring event at the final stream of this. So I'd rather load all of that on the back end of the stream series rather than read them as we go. That way they're all in one place and they'll be easier both for others to reference if they want to look at those, and also for myself. It will be easier for me to reference them if they are all in one place, all in one single video. At the very least, I am doing this whole tedious repeat of stages I've done 50 times before. I am at the very least doing it with a character that I do like quite a bit. Ryu Hayabusa is probably tied for my favorite character in this game to play, so he's at least quite a fun character to be playing while doing all of this. Ah, great, the arrow rain is directly on top of me. That was cool. Luckily, it did go away by the time I was done using all of my hero skills, but just yet another problem with this game. I don't know why they didn't at the very least put a slight delay on the arrow rain so that it wouldn't be able to hit your base seconds after you captured it. They should at least give like a 30-second buffer. That way you can at the very least walk outside of the base you just captured before getting hit with arrows. It's just like... it's just such an obnoxious little thing. Remember when I posted on Blue Sky that I would be done with this game like a month ago, like pretty soon? Because all I had left was the regard grinding, and surely grinding regard wouldn't take very long, and the final achievement I had left also wouldn't take long. Surely. You know, I did everything else. I did all of the actual content in the game. Didn't expect at the time for the actual main content of the game to take up less than 1/10 of my total playtime. Well, okay, maybe not 1/10, maybe 20%. Because currently I have 140 hours in this game. I think by the time I'm done maxing out everyone's regard, I believe my total playtime will probably hit around the 200, maybe even 250 hour mark, although I really hope it doesn't get that far. But at least the 200 hour mark, and I would say around 30 to 40 hours of this game were spent actually like playing the main content, you know, the story mode missions, getting all the achievements. The rest of this has almost entirely just been grinding out regard for every character. It is such a slow process. And while yes, I am technically working on an achievement right now, not regard grinding, so this is technically would fall under that 20% of actual game content. This clearly isn't exactly the most entertaining to play or presumably watch. Oh yeah, I love her using her special right there, right away, without even giving me a single moment to get off a single attack. Always great, always amazing. fantastic video game that I love. Okay, let's see how much distance I can cover with Ryu from here. Oh, actually not very much because there was an invisible wall there, but we did still get to see him do a funny little maneuver, even if it wasn't super long distance. How about this game is simple enough and easy that even the main commander of stages at rank 9 can be taken out with not even a strong attack chain, a single light attack chain, and sometimes that doesn't even need to fully complete the chain. Literally a 2-second attack cycle, and the main commander, the strongest enemy in the stage, is dead instantly. Really is a great experience of a video game. Okay. The rumors. Okay. Clear a new path forward, and then this one should unlock. And then after that, I will likely go for whatever the fastest ending route is. And let's go! The perfect outcome. Now this is the entire reason why we started doing New Game Plus cycles again for these requests, and these requests are primarily for that specific purpose. Reaching rank 5 Confidant when we are very close to it at rank 4 without having to fully bring a character into another battle. Which means we have gotten 2 characters to rank 5 in this set of stages. We're actually making quite good progress on the regard grind without even needing to go out of our way to focus on it. Which is nice, I will not at all complain about that, for sure. Okay, time to mark Goddess of Victory off on the spreadsheet just before we get out of our way to do it. Now, where is that? There it is, okay. Yeah, I would show the spreadsheet on stream, but considering I have to so quickly swap back and forth between it and the game itself, it would be a little bit annoying to have to constantly swap not only my own monitors between them, but also the stream viewpoint after every single battle for just a few seconds. Similarly to the Samurai Warriors 1 battle preparation theme in that game, hearing this theme, despite being so simple, I have heard it so many times that it's kind of infected my brain, become a slight brainworm.
頼みにさせてほしい。
I'm just now realizing that
カジノ
I do have. Actually, I'll wait for this cutscene to play first.
嫌なこったそれより自分の心配をしたらどうだ
おさわりは現
That
金
guy's dead now.
お客さん
Just actually dead.
てめえ
It's showtime!
絶対に許さねえ。
あら勝負継続をご希望かしら。
当然だ。
お客様がお望みなら。
大丈夫か。私たちが加勢しよう。
Yeah, as I was saying, just realizing I actually have Yuki Murasano on my team now, which means I can now take out opponents even faster than I already could. His fire attribute hero skill is actually very useful, especially when you want to take out opponents that are of a higher bravery rank than you without going out of your way to increase that rank. 'Yeah, another strange, slightly unclear objective for this game. In this stage, it says to recover the specified bases, but there's a gate that does not open until you take out not just one gatekeeper, but like 10. And they all spawn from that bottom left corner. They're not actually at the gate itself. And they will just keep spawning after you've defeated one until you've taken out them all. And it is not especially clear. The first time I did this stage, I took out one set of those gatekeepers at the bottom left, then a second, then a third, and at that point I assumed that they were just spawning infinitely, so I walked over to the gate, and well, I had to walk back, because you do have to defeat, I think it's 4 waves, or maybe 5 waves, of those gatekeepers that spawn. And if you don't, then you cannot actually come up here and capture these bases.
私たちはその時を倒してこよう。
わかったわ。リオにお任せ。
This is one of the few tracks in the game that I do actually still like the song of. As much as I hate this particular stage, and think it is a massive disappointment, at the very least, the music associated with it is not so much of a disappointment. I do actually quite like it. Nothing I would go out of my way to listen to off stream, but you know, this game has a pretty low bar for music in my personal opinion, so.
誰を倒すの？
守備は上々か。
こんなにたくさん相手にできないかも。そうだ。ね、そこの山賊さん。ブラックジャックって知ってる？このカードを使って遊ぶゲームなんだけど。
おお、これは面白そうだ。姉ちゃん、やり方を詳しく教えてくれ。
望まれたから。
見事な巧みに敵を引きつけている。今なら棟梁を倒せよう。
まさに資格なしですね、はやぶさ。
雪村、水産。守備は上々か。何のようだ。お宝。急ぎと。
まったくカジノにお宝なんてないのに。きらびやかだから勘違いしてるのかな。
I'm not sure what's with the captions and being so obsessed with the number 10. Every time I hum, it always interprets it as me saying either just the letter 10, just the number 10, or Ben 10 specifically. Always one of those two, and it could not be less accurate, but it is at least funny. Can't deny that.
はやぶさ殿。
Okay, and back to the sanctuary. Hopefully there's a friendship event, and there is. Nice, very, very nice. I feel like we've gotten a friendship event almost every single time we've actually went back to the sanctuary. It has almost always given us a friendship event, which I won't complain about, not even slightly. That's very good. But it is just like very, very interesting. I suppose it's because Ryu already had so many characters at max. The lost and found. Time to mark that off very quickly. Okay, nice, 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 very nice. Oh, is there anyone left who is not maxed? And there is not. Everyone that we have on this team is already maxed out. That is quite nice. But it also does mean this will be a slightly less efficient stage to go through.
我らの大切なものを運んでいた輸送部隊はこの辺りを通過したとのこと。ここで落としたのか、盗まれたのか。いずれにせよ。
From what I remember, and it has been quite a while since I've done this particular dramatic battle, but from what I remember, this is actually one of the longer ones. This one's like 7 or 8 minutes as opposed to the usual 2 or 3, but I can tolerate that. It's not a bad stage though, it's just one that's slightly long. it is on one of my, I don't know if I'd say favorite maps, but ones that I dislike less. Even though it is a surprisingly large map, I do actually think this is one of the very rare maps in this game that I would consider to be designed relatively well, despite being very large. And the reason why is because if you look at the map, standing from that central area, you can access almost every base camp. All of the camps you can access almost every keep from the center. Not all of them, there are a couple out of the way, but that's fine. But most of them you can get from the very center of the map. You don't have to be constantly circling around. There's also not any one-way entrances or exits. They're all pretty well connected. And so this is one of my favorite maps that are large. I still prefer the smaller maps in general. I don't think this game's movement tech is quite good enough to support the very large stages. There are no horses in this game. Most characters don't have any crazy movement techniques. And your base movement speed is not slow, but not fast enough to support the large maps. But this is one of the better ones because of how interconnected it is and easy it is to reach any major point that you would need to at any given time. You don't have to run around in circles to reach a single point. Like for example, if I wanted to reach that bottom right keep from here where I am right now, in all of other stages I would have to circle around the top left, into the bottom left, into the bottom right, because there would be a series of one-way entrances. But in this stage I can kind of just go directly straight down into the right. And yeah, it's a bit of a distance. It's not especially great compared to smaller stages. But as far as the large stages go, it is one of the better ones. It is much less annoying to traverse than many others of its kind. Hayabusa's skills are unlike any I've seen. Ninjas have changed their way throughout the years. It's so odd hearing only him speaking in English. Like, I still read the subtitles for him because I just do it for everyone, but it is just so strange hearing exclusively William be the only one who speaks in English. I mean, it makes sense, you know, considering his lore from his original game. He is British, but in the context of this game alone, it is a bit odd. Going to be very interesting once we eventually get to the regard grinding for characters like Millennia or Horo, ones that I have barely played up to this point. Because once we do get to those, we will be grinding them for quite a long time. They will be one of the longer grinding periods for characters, since they have barely touched them and they have almost no regard built up with anyone. So it will likely be minimum 3 streams, possibly even 4. So yeah, that will be not particularly fun once we get to them, but on the bright side, both Horo and Monia are 2 characters that are quite a long ways away until we get to them. They will be one of the last characters in the roster that we will have to grind regard for.
あの極上の焼酎は見つかりませんでしたね。新鮮な魚も寿司もどこかに消え失せた。
She fucking ate their food and drunk all of their alcohol. What an asshole. And Yukimura is just confused. I bumped into the spy unit just when they got here. It all looked so delicious, so I had them share a little with me. As an apology, I've got some Texan wine you can have, Master Yukimura. She has Texan wine, the fucking Yukimura, a guy who was alive during a period when Texas as a like state did not exist. I guess it would be unique for him, I suppose. Oh my god, Horo's at fucking rank 4, the very end of it. But I suppose I don't have anyone else to increase regard ranks with right now, so nothing too terribly following for our progress. Next is a Mask of Indifference. Mark that off as well. Okay. Got that marked, which means we can now actually do it. Fun. Dun, dun, dun. Instantly dies. Yeah, this game is very easy. Opponents die basically instantly. Even on the highest difficulty, which is what I'm on, so. This is one of my least favorite stages to play normally. However, it does have one thing going for it, specifically while playing as Ryu, and that is that there is one specific spot on this map that is my favorite to dive off of. You can traverse basically half of the entire map with a single dive if you position it correctly. And it is, well, it's pretty fucking funny. And useful. It's funny and, most importantly, actually useful. Yeah, there's an extra side objective to stop Lubu from entering the camp. I don't think I have ever went out after that side quest. Maybe I have like once, but I do not normally go after that one. It's kind of pointless. It's the map. One good thing about this map is while it takes forever for you to traverse it, that means it also takes forever for your enemies to traverse it. Which means that any point like this, you kind of just don't have to worry about them. And there's the jump. There's the dive I was talking about. Yeah, you can kind of just ignore Lubu in this map. He's not really an actual threat. I suppose it is possible that he could capture your main base, but it takes quite a while for any opponent to actually fully capture your main base. And combined with him starting on the other side of the map and having to traverse all of it, I don't think I've ever had him actually reach the main base before I won the stage. It just doesn't happen. Yeah, as you can see looking at the map, Lubu is still quite a ways away from... He is in the top right area, but he's still quite a ways away from entering the main camp, and I've already taken out the main commander. The stage is already over, and he is not even close to his objective, so... While you can go after him if you want for a bit of extra bravery points, it is absolutely not necessary, and in my opinion, is a complete waste of time. The T is generally out of your traditional path you would take to the end of the stage. It is largely pointless, but that's kind of a lot of objectives in this game, unfortunately. That one is definitely not an exclusive case. And now 2 more characters are maxed. And the only one left of the characters we have recruited are Mitsunari, Ishida, and that's it. The only one. Okay, so for the battle rumors, need to clear a new path forward. I'm not actually sure. Okay, Monument of the Dawn. That is the next stage I should go after. But I will first recruit Pakta. Since I believe she is another character that I do not have maxed with Ryu. So going after her now would give us an extra character to grind away at while we do all of this. I will never get over how awkward Ryu stands when in the hot spring. Like I know how that's how he stands just in general. Like they just reuse his normal standing pose in most other places as well, but specifically being reused in the hot spring, like they couldn't give him his arms down pose. They had to give him the one where he just looks like the most uptight asshole imaginable. Like, It just looks so strange. Wait, no. Did not realize that I did not have Yukimura maxed out as well, so gotta put him on my team.
敵の追撃を振り切らねば味方援軍と合流し体勢を立て直そう。あなたの強さはよく知っている。
Actually, I am realizing I did not mark this one off on the checklist before starting it. So I'm going to do that very quickly. Okay, nice, nice. Okay, now we're all caught up on the checklist.
その力今回も頼みにさせてほしい。観念しやがれ。誰かが山賊に襲われているようだな。見捨てるわけにはいかない。
そこの方、手助けをお願いできませんか？ならず者に大切な腕輪を取られてしまった。
心臓上々か。わかった。力になろう。
いました。あの男は腕輪泥棒です。誰を倒すの？
追ってきやがったか。
私はプラフタ、錬金術師です。とはいえ、私は人形の体。この身では錬金術は行いません。戦うには腕輪が必要なのです。
Yep, I pretty much just have to wait here for the next few moments until the door opens. Please open the door. I would like to progress. I've already been here for like 30 full seconds.
腕輪を取り戻していただきありがとうございます。では私の力をお見せしましょう。
なんだあれは。バカでかい腕。
いきます。
なんだあれ。化け物か。
逃がしなさい。錬金術の力思い知りましたか？
Unfortunately, my opinion on Plachta's playstyle is kind of mediocre. It's not bad, but it's kind of just alright. A bit of missed potential considering that I think aesthetically she's one of the best characters, and I love characters with like giant arms and combined with magic. And so, in theory, if it was executed better, she would probably end up as one of my favorite characters in the roster. But unfortunately, Plachta, as is in this game, is kind of just not bad, but not my personal favorite to play. He just kind of exists, a 5 out of 10 character, about average, but which is unfortunate. Maybe I'll like her more after playing her more once we get to the regard grinding for Plachta, but as of now, she's kind of just exists. She's not a bad character, but definitely not my personal favorite, and considering the potential that I thought she had initially, it was a slight disappointment the first time I played as her.
誰を倒すの？さあ、 っていきましょう。私の務め。
Now I pretty much just have to wait here, yep. And she spawns, and after I defeat her, the stage is over. Yeah, Plukta summons a bunch of weapons to fight. However, unfortunately, they're kind of just there for decoration effectively. You don't have to interact with them yourself for any stage objectives. And while they do attack enemies, they are so slow at it that they're not really gonna be an actual help to the battle, especially since it's this late into the fight. The only objective after they appear is to defeat Tamaki once she spawns. And, well, it doesn't exactly take very long to take her out, as you could see. And even Plukta was already at rank 4. Let's actually look at the full regard list for him. Oh my god, wait, never mind, I forgot. This is just the characters we have right now. It does not show everyone. It does not show every character unless we actually have them on our team, which is a bit annoying when it comes to looking at this stuff, but not the end of the world. And that was enough to bring Mitsunari up to rank 4, very nice. Okay, and to unlock question mark 1, we need to do a new path forward, so... Oh wait, yeah, and the new path forward requires Monument of the Dawn. Gotta mark those off as well. Okay, gonna go ahead and mark off a new path forward as well, since we will be doing that after this one. And then after that point, I think I will basically head straight for an ending. I already have all of you set up, so that's nice. Oh yeah, if I remember correctly, this is a deceptively short stage. This one is actually not as long as you would think, considering that it is on a large map and also has 2 enemy teams. But no, it's actually a relatively short one. From what I remember, you pretty much just have to go to the bottom right here, take out an opponent, and then go up to the top left and take out 2 more. And that is basically all that's required. It is a very simple stage, despite how it may look.
せてほしい。
やはり私でなくあなたがいるなら
そもそも火とは何だ。初代の王が作った石碑だ。黄泉を封じる方法が記されているらしい。だがその火がなぜ隠されているのか、私も先代の王である父もわからないんだ。これが忍びを超えた忍びの技。守備は上々か。私と家族についてお前は何も言わないのだ。俺が何を言ったところでお前の覚悟は違う。父はこの世界を愛し救いたいと考えていた。玉木骨折のこともいつも案じていた。私は父の先代の王の意志を継ぎたい。父より託されし意志が。
I feel like a lot of the dialogue happening at the bottom would probably be a lot more interesting if the story as a whole were better. But as is, it kind of just feels like filler dialogue in the middle of a stage. Even though what they're saying isn't too terribly uninteresting in a vacuum, it's just a problem of there's not really the core story that that dialogue is relating to. It's kind of just very nothing plotline. nothing too amazing going on in the overarching story, and so even when the dialogue within the stages is alright, it's kind of just like, oh, why would I really care too much about what it's saying when the story it's attached to is a bit dull. A very nothing story in a nothing game. I wish Shiki would actually come over here and let me progress the stage, but unfortunately he is just standing over there. Menacingly. Okay, finally. As soon as I defeat Ograna, the stage is over. There's really not even any reason for there to be two enemy types this stage, the yellow and red. Like, it really has basically no relevance. Kind of just here just because. Nah. It is a stage with a bit of wasted potential due to there being two enemy camps, but only one of them is actually relevant in the slightest.
この中か。はあ。せや。これは。そんな。どうした。おう。邪悪なる黄泉を泉の底へ封じんとす。故に仁義を。書かれているのはここまでだ。これはかけらでしかない。いくつあるかもわからぬ他のかけらを探す時間などもうこの世界には残されていない。世界を救う術などなかったというのか。
Yep, there are more fragments, and the rest of the true ending route is just going through finding all of them. So I suppose this is why I never completed these question mark stages, because there are these these options here that new path forward, and is that the question mark one? Okay, yeah, that's the one I need for this one. So very, very good. And to mark that off on the checklist. Okay. Oh wait, yeah, I already did. Okay, nice. No friendship event this time. Oh, finally a hot spring event. I believe this is the first actual hot spring event we have had this stream. That's nice, finally. We've gotten so many solo events and queening points for the hot springs that we haven't really actually been able to enter and see that many characters so far, so it is good to get one. There's a battle-starved beast over there. I wonder who that's referring to. Sounds like betrayal is in the air, which is great news because I get to fight more enemies. As much as I don't love Lubu's playstyle in this game, he is at least very funny to read the reactions of in the dialogue. Whether that dialogue is always actually fitting for him as a character is debatable, but it's at least very entertaining. And that's all I can really ask for in this game's case. It's a dumb crossover game. As long as the crossover dialogue and stuff is fun, that's all I really need. Even if it doesn't make a ton of sense at all times. And now that we have completed this stage, we can now get to the finally the question mark stage that we needed to do. And there is one more up on Shiki's path that we will have to do another run to get to. But hopefully that one will end up being shorter. I will likely just rush to the end of that one. But yeah.
泉なしの世界など考えたこともなかった。泉が枯れれば世界は滅びる。確かに泉に頼るしか術を持たねば滅びるだけだ。だが英雄たちから知識を得た今なら私にできるのだろうか、父上。
四季、我が息子よ。このまま泉が枯れたらどうなるんだ。飢えて死んじまうしかないのか。どうか民よ、世界を守ってくれ。
お前たちは本当の兄弟みたいに接してくれた。俺はそれに救われたんだ。だからお前たちのためなら何でもできる。
そして刹那を。
お兄様はいつも玉木を守ってくださるんですね。
玉木を救ってくれ。
私がやらねばならぬのだ。私は泉ごと黄泉を滅ぼす。そして泉に頼らずともいい世界を作ってみせる。力を貸してくれるか。
今さらそんなことを問われるとはな。
まあお坊ちゃまにしては悪くない思いつきなんじゃない？
The cutscenes in this game aren't bad, they're shot well, but the problem is even if they are shot very well, it's just kind of like they're shot well. The cutscenes themselves in a vacuum aren't bad, it's just a matter of like there's not really much to them beyond that. I don't know, like the core problem is not the cutscenes. Like most of this game, it's not the individual parts that are bad. In most cases, it's the way it all comes together. And this game, the way everything comes together is a bit dull. The story's not great. The cutscenes are fine, the dialogue is fine as well, but the story it's all centered around is incredibly bare bones and by the numbers. There's nothing particularly interesting about it. It is a musou story in a game that only has story mode, and a musou story mode in general usually isn't great, so it being the only thing available here is obviously not amazing. But this one is the question mark stage, finally! Thing is though, I'm like 90% certain I've done this before. The stage name is very familiar, and I already know I've gotten all endings, I have the achievement for it, and this would be an ending stage, so I don't know why exactly it was marked as question mark. Either I haven't done it, and it's an ending that's not required for the all endings achievement, which would be strange and very inconsistent, or it's an ending I have done and it's just not correctly marked, which would be an even bigger problem and is why I'm even doing this, which actually almost forgot. I do need to mark this off. Not forget about that. Okay. now marked off, and I think after this stage I will probably end the stream, assuming this is actually an ending. And then I suppose I think I'll probably stream either tomorrow or Friday again, depending on how busy I am tomorrow morning, but next stream will honestly probably not even be a Warriors All-Stars stream. I kind of want to play a different game. As much as I would love to get done with this game as quickly as possible, it is tedious enough and repetitive that playing it every single stream is not my favorite thing to do. It is a lot of my video game time in general is dedicated to these streams, so pretty much playing almost exclusively Warriors All-Stars for the last few weeks has not been the most enjoyable, but I will of course still need to continue playing it for quite a bit longer. But I think next stream I will try something different. Not sure what game exactly I'll play, but it will likely be a game that is not Warriors All-Stars. I would like to play something actually different. Maybe I haven't done this stage before. It doesn't feel familiar at this point, so either I actually haven't done it, and that would be strange because I don't know why. I don't know why that would why this would be an ending that I haven't gotten despite having the achievements ending, but the ending achievement, but whatever. Either this is an ending that I haven't gotten, and that would make sense on why the stage isn't familiar, or if I have done it before, then I just haven't done it in a long enough time that I've forgotten it. I'm going to hope that it is actually a stage that I haven't done though, because that will mean I will actually be a bit closer to being done with this achievement. And that will be good, because wow, this is fucking exhausting. This game sucks. I know I say it every stream, but the more and more I play this game, the more it's just like... It's not terrible. It's one of those games where I feel like the most enjoyment you can get out of it can be gotten from playing it for an hour or two, and the more and more that you play, the more time you put into it, the worse it becomes. A lot of its flaws begin to become very obvious very quickly, especially if you're going for 100%. Not even just the full 100% of what I'm doing. Even if you just go for achievement completion, it's still very obvious a lot of the flaws in the game. Time to run in circles and wait for them to finish talking. My favorite. Okay, no one got maxed out, but that is alright, I suppose.
清らなる泉よ、我らが命の源よ、汝がすべての力もと、異界への道を開きたまえ。英雄たちよ、あるべき場所へ返すために。泉の力を使い果たした。これからは 私自身の手で道を切り開いてみせよう。
Okay, it was an ending, but I do think that is the exact same ending cutscene as finishing a different stage for an ending. So I suppose you get the same ending if you do different sets of stages, and that's why I have the achievement, the ending achievement, but haven't completed all technically ending stages, I suppose. Odd, but whatever. I guess I will start with Ryu yet again, since he is the character I need to grind out regard on. But yeah, I just want to finish his starting stage first to get the run started. But yeah, I am planning to end this stream as soon as I finish this one stage. I guess the in-game battle rumors, I suppose, are accurate, but only insofar as story and hero battles. Dramatic battles, I don't know why those remain non-marked, even when even if you have done them in previous New Game Plus runs. It works fine for hero and story battles, but dramatic battles, for whatever reason, aren't like that. I don't get why. It's the inconsistency is what bothers me the most.
You're a ninja like Hanzo. We could not ask for a better companion.
見て、私たちの他に誰かいる。
自己紹介の窓だったか。俺は
Just gotta spin circles around her until she gets pissed.
I am William. I was supposed to be in a place called Japan.
どうやら3人ともいきなりここに連れてこられたようね。あなたたちは
Just have to literally run laps around her until she eventually catches up. Oh, and she uses her special the second she appears. Okay, cool. And it literally took 2 light attacks to kill her. This game is certainly a video game.
ならば戦うまで。
化け物たちを振り切ったみたい。この先は静かそうだから。行ってみ
But yeah, now that we have done the single ending, actually no, I'll let this one cutscene play out beforehand.
なんと済んだ気か。
ここは
よく来てくれた異界の英雄たちよ。英雄。この世界を救うため、どうか私に力を貸してくれ。
That's all that cutscene is. Basically the same for almost every character, but
ね
but yeah.
この世界は
Oh, actually no, there's one more.
奇跡の力によって長く
This cutscene though is exactly the same for every character. I know that for certain.
作物の一つも実らぬほどに荒れ果てていたという。歴代の王が三種の神器によって泉の力を操り、各地の祠に恵みを行き渡らせることで人々が暮らせるようになったのだ。しかし前王が亡くなった時、泉と祠は急激に力を失った。そして新たな王が戴冠の儀を行う間もなく、泉も大地も枯れてしまったのだ。そんな中、母上は私たちに古い言い伝えを教えてくれた。 泉が力を失い世が滅びに向かいし時異界の英雄折りたたん英雄祠に己が力を与え泉を再び
Nice solo added PNGs.
英雄を導きし者大観の義を経て王となり世に大いなる繁栄をもたらさんこの言い伝えに従い私の妹玉木はあなた方をこの世界に呼んだ泉に残された最後の力と引き換えに異界の英雄はこの世界に対して多大な影響力を持っているその力を祠と大地に分け与えてほしい泉と祠の間で水脈を通じて正しく力が循環するようになれば泉はよみがえるそれが母上の見立てだあなた方を巻き込んですまないだがどうか私に力を貸してほしい共に戦ってくれ
ね
Alright, cutscene. Not a bad one. But I will be ending the stream here now. So now going on world info, we now have this one to do, and then after that we should have. I know there's one more that was question marked on Tamaki's story. I don't know about any in Setsuna's story though, so we will be focusing on this one next stream, while simultaneously trying to get as much regard for Ryu as out of the way for now as possible. But this is what we'll be doing next stream, and then after that we will go from there. Hopefully I can get this done within the next 2 or 3 streams. That way we can begin to focus again on the regard grinding. Yeah. Although let's see, we did get a lot of friendship events with Ryu that run, so let's see how filled out he is. Okay, 10. Pretty good. I think he was at 0 before this stream, so reaching 10 is definitely not bad. So far the one we have the most with is Yukimura, who is about halfway there to max of all of his. Now for the common ones, we have one for Ayane, one for Millennia, one for Murray Rose, and one for Joking, all of which are characters I haven't put a ton of time into myself, so it does make sense that there's a decent amount left for them. And for the hot spring events, we have quite a few left on everyone. Those require being at max regard for every character, so it's gonna be a while before we'll make a ton of progress on those. But yeah. As much as I don't love having to direct time into a single achievement when we should be doing regard grinding, this has been a fairly successful stream. We did make quite a bit of progress, so that is quite nice. But yeah, next stream will most likely not be a Warriors All-Star stream. I'm not sure what I'll play, but it will probably not be this. I need at least a very short break from that. Not a very long break, just like one stream and then we'll get back to it, but that will either be tomorrow or Friday, depending on how busy I am tomorrow. But yeah. Yeah, next stream I will figure out what exactly to play, but again, it's not gonna be Warriors All-Stars. I need at least a 1 stream break. I can't exclusively stream Warriors All-Stars as much as I probably should, considering that I have less than 2 months to get max regard with every character. I do have the deadline of Utawara Ramono-zan's release, but yeah. That will be the end. It was a fun stream. Well, about as much fun as I can have with this game, but not a bad one. Have a nice day, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.